Hey everyone, welcome back to Pinned on Places. This time we've ventured north in our North Wales walking tour series. Join us as we explore the spectacular Harlech Castle. Seen from just over a bluff of rock to the south of the town of Harlech, both the view of the castle and the sea panorama is truly breathtaking. Even after 7 centuries, it remains testament to a military architect and genius, Master James of St George, where he adapted the natural strengths of the site to the defensive requirements of the age and created a building which combines an interesting sense of magnificence with a great beauty of line and form. Harlech was begun during King Edward I's second campaign in North Wales. It was known as part of an iron ring of castles that surrounded the coastal fringes of Snowdonia and eventually stretched from Flint right across to Aberystwyth. Following the fall of the Welsh stronghold at Castell Aber, King Edward's forces arrived at Harlech in April 1283, where the building work commenced. Over the next 6 years, a huge army of masons, quarriers, labourers and other craftsmen were drafted and were busily engaged in construction. One of the castle's interesting and most remarkable features is the way from the sea. Its gate and fortified stairway that lead down 108 steps to the sea floor and plunges almost 200 foot down to the very foot of the castle rock. This was used for access for supplies from the sea, when once it was an important feature in a time when ships provided by far the easiest and least expensive mode of transportation. But the tide level has since receded, leaving Harlech almost isolated upon its rock. The final result of this was a perfectly concentric castle, built where one line of defences is enclosed by another. Unfortunately, what remains today is now ruinous and fails to convey the true 13th century effect. The inner ward of Harlech is surprisingly small, and as the foundations stand, they show a great deal of room that was originally taken up by the array of domestic buildings. To the rear lay the Great Hall and kitchen. Then against the north wall lay the chapel and a bakehouse, and finally to the south, a granary and second hall. The corner towers provided further accommodation, and today we were able to scale the sets of stairs to the wall walks on top of Harlech, giving you those beautiful views in all directions. Undoubtedly, the most impressive and most terrifying part of Harlech is walking around the battlement, where behind you have a stretch of mountains of Snowdonia, and in front the stunning sea that separates Wales from Ireland. You can imagine back in the day being an archer, you'd have such an incredible perspective on any unfolding battle. The gatehouse has two large tall towers with corner turrets that were built up from the curtain wall, echoing the D-shaped towers of the main gatehouse. The windows here emphasise its dual purpose, where the windows are narrow and small, which was suited to a defence. The interior face of the gatehouse is dotted with three large grand window openings on the upper two floors, where a wide and stately staircase leads up to the main apartments on the first floor. The first floor would have probably been for the constable, or the governor, who from 1290 to 93 was actually Master James himself, and the comfortable rooms on the top floor probably served as a suite for visiting VIPs, which included the king. The gate passage itself was protected by a succession of no less than 7 obstacles, which included 3 portcullises. One either side of the passage there were guard rooms, and the upper floors of the gatehouse provided the main private accommodation at Harlech. If you are wary of heights, this trip up the ramparts may not be for you. As the castle is protected by UNESCO, the site can't install safety barriers, so some of the walls barely reach shin height, so just be careful. Although for us, this is what we thought was so cool, as everything is left untouched, and would have been true to what the castle walls would have looked like back in the day. We stayed here for about a good hour and a half just to take everything in and explore, and would recommend around that time too for your visit. There are toilets and a gift shop just outside the castle, run by Caddy, and if you step out into the town itself, you'll find some beautiful cafes and tea rooms in the upper part of Harlech town. Another bit of information for you is about parking. You can park right outside the castle, and it was £1 an hour with about 30 to 40 spaces. So just be mindful that you may have to venture around town for this, as it did get very busy quite quickly. Harlech is one of those castles you just have to visit for a true Welsh castle tour. It is spectacular, and that important that UNESCO have named it a World Heritage Site. Very few other castles have that status, so they know that this one is quite important. We would advise adjoining your trip to Harlech with another nearby castle ruin, like Castle Criccieth and Castell Yaber. If you've enjoyed watching our video today, please give us a like, and why not consider subscribing to the channel. It helps us grow and keeps us doing what we love. Thanks for watching, till next time.